Hello everyone and welcome back to Very Cold Lasagna, your filthy casual place with all the filthy casual takes on the world of sports. I am DylanLasagna, welcome you back to another round of our recap for the 2022 NFL season. And yes, week 6 has come and gone, and yeah, let's talk about it. And remember how I said there was just 2 games worth monitoring this past weekend? I do stand by that still, but there was just a couple more wrinkles in the plot hole there, if you know what I mean. So that being said, let's get into our Week 6 2022 recap here and now. So as a reminder, there were a couple of teams on their bye week this week, and of course, as we go through along, up until week 15 of this season, there'll be more teams heading into their bye weeks. So this week, it was the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Tennessee Titans. So getting to our actual recap, the Washington Commanders beat the Chicago Bears 12-7 as America got to suffer with the 4th straight week of ugly-ass primetime football, this time with a sprinkle of commanding Bears football, as Darnell Mooney was just pushed out of the end zone on a juggling catch as Washington held on to win that game. Going on to the Sunday slate of games, starting the early morning portion, the Atlanta Falcons beat my San Francisco 49ers 28-14, with Marcus Mariota and the Falcons taking full advantage of a depleted 49ers defense as they scored 14 unanswered points at 2 different points of the game. And man, my Niners are looking disappointing right now after 2 good weeks. The New England Patriots beat the Cleveland Browns 38-15. The Patriots running game and Bailey Zappi, the third-string quarterback, had another solid outing. And the Browns made it tense a little late in the game, but too many critical mistakes from them allowed New England to pull the game out of reach from them. The New York Jets, surprisingly, with the upset of the day and the upset of the week, beat the Green Bay Packers 27-10. As the Jets defense, special teams, and the rookie running back Breece Hall were just too much for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to handle, as Robert Saleh's young group of gangrene talent garnered a massive upset and suddenly on the rise. Can they keep it up? We'll see, but big win for them either way. The Indianapolis Colts defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 34-27 as Matt Ryan and that offense had their best showing yet, as they garnered 3 touchdowns for Matt Ryan, and he slinged and dinged the Colts to a victory over the Jags and avenged that Week 2 shutout in Jacksonville. And the Minnesota Vikings beat the Miami Dolphins 24-16. Now, for this game, you can either call it a battle of good defenses or just bad quarterback play. But the critical point of this game was a bad fumble by Dolphins receiver Jalen Waddle, and that led to 2 plays for the Vikings. A Dalvin Cook big touchdown run and Patrick Peterson's interception late in the 4th quarter to lift the Vikings past the Dolphins. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the New Orleans Saints 30-26, while Andy Dalton looked a little bit better this past week, running the offense against his old team. Glimpses of the 2021 Bengals appeared as Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase got hot in the second half with 2 touchdowns to lift Cincinnati past the Saints. The Baltimore Ravens lost to the New York Giants 24-20. And, well, you can't go another week without another blown 10-point 4th quarter lead by the Baltimore Ravens, as Lamar Jackson threw a game-changing interception and was also strip-sacked on 2 consecutive drives in that 4th quarter, as the Giants came back to beat the Ravens 24-20. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, surprisingly, beat the Tampa Bay Bucks 20-18. Even though they lost Kenny Pickett in the 3rd quarter to a concussion, the Steelers defense overwhelmed Tom Brady and the Bucks for most of the game. And when things got tense, their MVP, the inaugural Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player, Mitch Trubisky, made some big throws and kept the ball away from Tampa from getting one last chance as the Steelers beat the Bucks. Going to the late afternoon games, the LA Rams beat the Carolina Panthers 24-10. In a pretty uninspiring game for both offenses, which saw Panthers receiver Robbie Anderson argue twice with his coaching staff and eventually get traded for it to the Arizona Cardinals. But The Rams, hey, they finally got something out of Allen Robinson as they scored 17 unanswered points in the second half to beat the Panthers. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals 19-9. And, well, outside of letting him scramble for big yards, the Seahawks defense made life miserable for Kyler Murray. And their offense steadily rode the wave of rookie running back Kenneth Walker to beat their NFC West rival. And then, of course, we had the big matchup of the day. The Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs 24-20 in a rematch of that 2021 AFC divisional game, which was pretty much a game of chess between both teams. But Josh Allen and Dawson Knox made the key touchdown with 1 minute left to go in the game. And then on the following ensuing drive on defense, Von Miller, this is why you sign him. He nearly got to Patrick Mahomes, and that forced an interception out of Patty Mahomes to throw an interception on that end, and the Bills exacted some revenge on the Chiefs. And then, of course, we had the Sunday night game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, which Philadelphia won 26-17. The Philly Eagles at one point jumped out to a 20-3 halftime lead, but the rush in Cooper's Cowboys came back to cut down the lead to 20-17. But a touchdown by Devontae Smith late in the fourth quarter put the game on ice for good for the Philadelphia Eagles. Then, of course, just what we all needed to close out week 6, another primetime Denver Broncos game. 2 consecutive primetime Broncos games. And this was a game that seemingly nobody wanted to win. And, of course, we needed another extra period of primetime Broncos. And somehow, some way, the Broncos found a way to out-Clippers the LA Clippers of football in the extra period, as a punt return gone wrong, which involved 2 Broncos players bumping into each other, or actually, it was a Clippers player pushing a Broncos player into the returner, which apparently you're allowed to do, and that allowed Dustin Hopkins, the kicker, to seal the win for the Clippers, 19-16. Okay, I guess. So anyway, that was your week 6 of the 2022 NFL season. Let's get into some winners and losers, shall we? After a week that was not really that notable, but had a couple of upsets, and of course those 2 big games. So starting off with the winners, you're not gonna have the big notable team names like the Bills or the Chiefs or the Eagles in this one, but instead we're going to talk about the supposedly bad teams that surprisingly landed on this list. Starting with the New York Jets. Yes, the Jets beating the Packers in a massive upset because their defense was relentless. They were fast. They put together a good game plan to make Aaron Rodgers force his throws, and they even got to him at times, sacked him in less than 2 seconds. So they were pressuring Aaron Rodgers all day long and make him feel like that I can't connect with these guys. I can't do shit. And meanwhile, on the offensive end, Zach Wilson didn't necessarily have the best of games, but he still found ways to make plays happen for his other guys, and let the rest of his offense take care of the rest. Breece Hall, for example, was a force in the running game, and Braxton Berrios, with a little bit of creativity on that one play in the third quarter, they both put the Packers defense on skates with those 2 respective plays in the third and fourth quarter that pretty much put the game to bed in favor of the Jets. And then, of course, the play that broke it all open for the Jets was that blocked punt that was returned for a touchdown. Like, my word. These Jets for Robert Saleh, what they put together, maybe it's perhaps starting to pay off. Like, they may not compete in the AFC East with the Bills quite yet, but they're starting to come along in the AFC, especially with this confidence-inspiring win over the Green Bay Packers. The Seattle Seahawks. Sure, you could say that they're losing by winning in terms of their draft spot next year, but you could say that they're decent X factors in the NFC, despite their inconsistency on defense, which still remains sus. But Geno Smith continues to look pretty solid on offense, and the rookie running back Kenneth Walker continues to look like a good runner. And this offense continues to create a little bit of balance between aggressiveness and decision making. So they may not win the division. Of course, you have the 49ers and the Rams to account for. But, as a playoff team, which is kind of crazy to say, considering this is a weak-ass NFC, you can't really necessarily count them out late in the season when it matters most. And then you have the Atlanta Falcons. Even with a meh offense and a crap defense, they got the job done. They still surprised many people. Granted, although the Niners had a ton of injuries, but still, they came in unprepared. So the Falcons, though, came in better prepared than the 49ers. They attacked the exposed holes and attacked a more depleted 49ers team in different ways, whether it was with the run game, with their no-name running backs and Marcus Mariota, or through the air with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. The Falcons just outclassed a more superior 49ers team, or at least they should be. And then when it was the Niners' turn on offense, the defense forced Jimmy G and that team into a lot of self-inflicted mistakes, shooting themselves in the foot. So overall, they only allowed 14 points in that first half and nothing in the second half. So for Arthur Smith's Falcons, they're fighting. They are fighting. So they came in with one of the worst rosters assembled this season. Yes, with short-term players, a lot of them, and they have a lot of dead money owed to players already not on the team. But here they are in week 6, an even 3-3, and who knows if they go anywhere the rest of the way. But hey, they're tied with the Tampa Bay Bucks in the NFC South. And looking at my losers for this week, America for watching that Thursday night game and the Monday night game. We deserve to, I guess, everyone deserved to suffer. Not just we, everybody that watched those primetime games deserved to suffer, especially the Thursday night game. For paying $15 a month, especially when you got close to that renewal period, when you got to the free trial period of Amazon Prime Video. If you renewed that shit and you're getting a couple more games of disappointing primetime Thursday night games on Amazon Prime Video, you deserve to suffer for another month. I hope you get what you deserve. And then the Green Bay Packers. For the second straight week against another New York team, they disappointed on offense. But this was even worse. This was even worse. Aaron Rodgers could absolutely get nothing going with his receiving core. This week, he couldn't trust him at all. He couldn't get anything going with anyone outside of Robert Tonyan. Where was Christian Watson? Where was Romeo Doubs? He was this whole game, he was either holding onto the ball for too long to get sacked or overthrowing all of his receivers because of pressure. Either way, for as good as this defense is for Green Bay, this offense needs to get it together because that defense can't hold its end of the bargain forever like it did Sunday. Which, by the way, that defense allowed 27 points compared to the offense's 10 points that scored. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. And then the Tampa Bay Bucks offense. I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, I know there's all the injuries on the offensive line, and then, of course, the free agency exits from them. And then there's other things to account for with Tom Brady, his age, his personal life, and the potential of it affecting his professional life. I mean, I'm not going to go into any detail of that at all. But regardless, Tampa Bay, they look really out of sorts in the past couple of weeks. And especially here in this game against the Steelers team that not only is still missing TJ Watt, they last week they got hammered by the Buffalo Bills, and somehow, some way, they still looked like God against Tom Brady, who has dominated the Steelers during his time against the Patriots, but still, the Steelers defense managed to look like God. against Tom Brady, who chewed out his offensive line during that game. So a lot of unevenness with this offense. They need to figure that what's going on, what's the issue soon, because the Falcons, who are, even though they're rebuilding, Arthur Smith's team is fighting, and they're on their tails. They, like, whatever happens next, they need to get done. They need to figure out something soon, because this NFC South that I said it was the Bucs to lose, it could be theirs to lose. They could be losing it if they don't figure things out soon. It's a long season though, but they don't figure things out, it could get ugly. Now for my hurry up game of the week, I want to talk about the Bills. And more specifically, where they're at this point. They're 5-1 on the season, and it was at this point last year where I'm not sure what their record was, but it was at this point in the season. I think it was week 6, also week 5 or 6, where they also beat the Kansas City Chiefs in mid-October, in the rain, mind you. And then the following week, they beat they lost to the Tennessee Titans. And then in that mid-season stretch, they struggled pretty badly. I mean, sure, they won a couple games, but they're very on and off on offense, especially Josh Allen. Like, there were a lot of uneven performances for him. There were like games where he got sacked a lot by his doppelganger in Jacksonville. And then, of course, they allowed that very, very crazy game by Jonathan Taylor single-handedly at home, mind you, at home. And then the win game at home on Monday night against New England. So what I'm saying is that heading out of their bye, they're on bye this week, but heading out of it and what's going to be an even tougher slate, and after week 8 with the Packers, the Vikings, you still have to face New England twice. You still have to face the Jets twice. You have to face Miami one more time. And I think you have to face, I know you already, I'm not sure who else you have to face the Bengals. So there's a lot of things to account for the Bills. If they actually want to right the wrong from last season and, maintain some consistency, because that's not what they did last year. If they want to be that top seed, if they want to be the top dog over Kansas City, when it matters most, they got to maintain some consistency on offense. They can't sleep on the wheel like they did last year. So in order for them to right the wrong, they can't sleep on the wheel like they did last year. So that was my hurry up game, and that was my recap of the 2022 NFL season for week 6. Drop your thoughts, drop your takes, and tell me how right or wrong I am, how I was for this week in the comments below. But anyway, this was DylanLasagna signing out of Very Cold Lasagna with another recap of the 2022 NFL season. And until next time, peace out.